All right, folks, I've got 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and call to order this November 12th regular meeting of the town of White Lake. And I would ask that you bow your heads for the invocation. Dear Lord, we wish to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to gather here this evening to discuss the business of this town. We ask that you guide us and direct us as we attempt to do your will and to do those things that are in the best interest of the citizens of this town. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen. Okay, for all 4 of you who are out here, you are welcome to join us in the pledge. And we always begin our meeting with that. I'd ask Commissioner Hawley to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Okay, folks, the first item is the approval of the consent agenda items, which contain the agenda adoption, approval of minutes, October utility releases, October tax releases, and October tax refunds. Are there any questions for staff in regard to any of the proposed items on the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion that be approved as presented.
So moved.
Second. Motion second. Any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Under item number 2, administrative matters. Sean, if you would please, if you would begin with taking the project updates under item A.
Yes, sir. For item A, we have a monthly update on the White Lake Water Management Project provided by Dr. Diane Lawrence and with Limno Sciences. In her monthly update this month, she does note that it's been a year of extremes in precipitation, meaning that after the big rains in August and September, there was actually no rain that was recorded in October, and therefore the month ended with lake levels down to or from 65.5 NAVD 88 to 64.3 NAVD 88. In the monthly update, which is published on whitelakewatch.com, she does have the charts that update the totals for various statistics on the monthly rainfall as well as the lake levels. Those are both provided in the report. And on the second page of the report, she does discuss or provides a chart with some information on turbidity, stating that it's one measure of water clarity, that the August rains provided as an improvement, which is to say that you can notice the drop on the chart there from the rainfall from July to August in the graph above. Those big rains also created pathways for runoff going into the lake, and there are some pictures provided of conditions of the lake observed during October. If there are no questions, Mayor, that concludes the report from Diane. I do want to briefly mention that Commissioner Hilton has been working with Bobby Joe Lockamy as well as Tim Clifton in terms of gaining access to the drainage ditch, for lack of a better term, that runs alongside his house. As you may recall in the past couple of months, there's been some discussion on the same ditch, for lack of a better term, that runs along Liza Van's house. So should the town pursue a project there, Commissioner Hilton has obtained permission for the town to utilize that drainage area on Mr. Lockamy and Mr. Clifton's land that runs in between.
How about it lies in Eddie's? That you got that worked out too?
We're close. Working on it.
Working on it.
So the my understanding,
We're trying to follow Mr. David Clark's philosophy of, oh boy, you get a better price.
you get
So we're getting it. Works for the getting.
Absolutely. In the White Lake Water AIA project update, this month is a short update, but I do just want to call to the board's attention that the town staff is working with an engineer on the water system GIS information. That is going to be a deliverable to town that our public works staff can use while they're in the field to locate our water lines and update information on water lines. We're also working with that engineering firm, Withers Ravenel, on continuing the hydraulic model work. That's in progress, and that's to say that we're observing right now and building data so that we can point toward some definitive data on the asset management plan that's produced from the project, as well as the capital improvement project that comes as a result of the asset management plan. This project is still on schedule for a early to mid next year presentation. There are no questions, Mayor. That concludes the project updates for this month.
All right, if you would, please, if you would present item B on the record retention and disposition schedule.
Yes, sir. This is, as noted, the record retention and disposition schedule that's in accordance with North Carolina General Statutes 121 and 132. And in simple terms, most of these documents are audit-related documents that have collected as a result of past audits. There also are some town documents, as you can see on the screen here, that the town is required to keep for a set number of years based on what the document type is. So per the policy set forth, the policy of the Town of White Lake Records Retention Management Policy, the board has to approve the request before the town can destroy by shred or burn the documents that are listed in your agenda packet. If there are no questions, Mayor, staff would ask that the board authorize the destruction of these records as presented.
All right, you've heard the report from the administrator. Unless there are any questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve the destruction of the records in accordance with the general statutes as set forth in item B.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Next is item C. And Sean, if you would take that, please, on the contract for services with First Source Staffing. And let me say, prior to the beginning of that, we are well aware, and Tim is well aware, that we will need to allow Mr. Blount to recuse himself from any discussion or any vote in regard to this item, since he is one of the owners of First Source Staffing, and we're talking about a contract with them. I will tell you that we have checked this out, not only with the School of Government, but I have looked at it, and I can tell you that it is legally permissible to enter into such a contract. It's just Mr. Blount can't be involved in any discussion or vote. So prior to the beginning of this, I would entertain a motion that Mr. Blount be allowed to recuse himself from any discussion or vote in regard to the contract presented in item C. With a motion second, any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Tim, by the way, you are perfectly legal in retaining and remaining in your seat. You don't have to go out and be seated. You just can't participate in the discussion or vote. That's okay. That administrative part being taken care of, Sean, I'll turn it over to you for the presentation of item C.
Yes, sir. This is for contracted services utilizing First Source Staffing services indicated by Mayor Womble. I would just like to say that even though Mayor Pro Tem has recused himself, I have not had conversations with Mayor Pro Tem Blount on this contract. I have dealt exclusively with Robbie, and forgive me, I don't know Robbie's last name, but Mills, Robbie Mills, and I have sort of negotiated this contract that you see in front of you. The purpose of this contract is to help fill the void left by openings in our department, specifically Public Works Department. The contract is open-ended because there's options, I suppose, for down the road if we needed it, the town needed it, to fill basic services with the staffing agency. But right now we have a extreme need for help in Public Works Department from a manpower standpoint. We have 2 positions open now that we have received little to no application for, and it is the off season, but there are some proactive and preventive things we can be doing, some checks we can be doing, and some projects that we can be doing in-house that we just don't have the manpower to get to. I hear from Kevin, our Public Works Director, a lot to keep me up to date on where we are as a department, and this is just one more thing that I think would be beneficial for us to help fill the void on a short-term basis as we look for a long-term replacement to fill those two open positions. I would also bring it to the board's attention that the idea behind this is to potentially bring on some seasonal type help to cut grass or do building maintenance or something along those lines that would otherwise tie up the 7 employees we have in Public Works. Mayor, if there are any questions, I'm happy to entertain or answer those, but staff would recommend that the board approve this contract as presented so that we can put some people to work in our Public Works Department primarily.
All right, before there's any discussion, we'll need to see if there is a motion to approve the contract.
So moved.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
All right, there having been a motion and a second, I would now open the floor for any discussion in regard to the contract referenced in item C. If there is no discussion, I would entertain a motion that the contract with First Source Staffing Services LLC as presented be approved.
So moved.
Second motion, second, any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Under item 3, as usual, well, before we get to that, let me ask, and I always ask the commissioners, if you have something that needs any discussion, if you will ask for it to be placed on the agenda, that's always helpful so that we can know what we're discussing. That being said, I'm asking if there are any very brief matters that any of the commissioners need to bring up at this time that are not on the agenda.
Yes, I didn't get these until today, but I had asked Sean if I could talk to y'all about this tonight.
Yes. Okay. I
So-
think we've got it past there.
Do you want me to speak on it now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. AmeriCorps was planning a retreat in Montreat, but as you know, Black Mountain is not a place where people are going these days. So they moved to White Lake for this retreat. They'll be here for 4 days. There's about 20 of them. Jake and Dean are housing them, Timbo's feeding them. All's good in the world. They're working with Dale some. They're going to do a demonstration on fire extinguishers Sunday afternoon. They're cooking baked goods to take to the veterans home in Ammon. They're doing a roadside cleanup for us around the lake. And on Monday at 5, they want to do a presentation with community leaders here to hear what all of their programs are. I mean, it's not just, I was thinking they could help us when we start trail work, but they work in literacy. They have in the past had representatives who came and lived in Bladen County for 9 months and worked at the high schools as college advisors. I mean, there's a multitude of different things that they can do. And they would like to give a short presentation for you all Monday night, Monday at 5, from 5 to 5:30 in this space. And if speak to people you work with or people you live with. Let's try to have a good crowd here. And I think that this is a very beneficial group for us to develop a relationship with. Any questions? I can ask Susan Ruth. I don't have them all, but the girl who's coordinating it grew up here. So she knows White Lake good.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for the information on it, and Sean, if you can get out of the map. Okay. All right, the next matter is the departmental briefings and reports, as we always have in item A, in the listing of all of those. And those are there for your review. I don't see a number B, so that must be, it's not B. Item C is board recognition. That probably should have been B, and C maybe the next one, but anyway, we want to recognize Mr. Tim Blount for his long period of service, for the past 25 years with Lumber River Council of Governments. And Tim's been a very active participant and has, attended a lot of their meetings. And, as y'all probably know, we've had the assistance of the Lumber River COG a number of times by the town of White Lake, and continue to work with them. And Tim, we thank you for and appreciate your work that you did with working with COG, and also wanted to recognize Mike Suggs in that capacity. Commissioner Suggs has served on the board of Lumber River Council of Governments for the past 9 years. Retired from the board in December of 23, as did Mr. Blount. And at this time, we just wanted to recognize them formally, and that on the record is recognizing them for their service. And again, we thank y'all for what you did with that. Any comments y'all got? Have to have anything, okay. Item D is employee retirement. As Sean mentioned earlier, there is a couple of folks short in Public Works, and one of those is Mr. Tom Rigsbee. He's worked with us for the past 17 years, and he'll be retiring as of December 11, 2024. And Tom's been an excellent employee of the town for a long period of time. We will have a tough time filling his shoes, but we've got to go forward doing that. And I'm assuming we'll be working on something to present to him as his years of service will. Okay. Item E is the Wildlife Commission Permanent Rule Amendment Public Comment Period. The Wildlife Resources Commission has initiated permanent rulemaking at White Lake. It will require motorboats to travel perpendicular to the shore at a no-wake speed within the restricted area at White Lake. As y'all are aware, there had been a change made that allowed the boats to operate parallel to the shoreline inside the no-wake zone. And we requested the Wildlife Commission that not be done. We made some other requests also. They have seen fit to agree with us on that. They will be, so in the permanent rule, there will no longer be any operating a motorized craft parallel to the shoreline inside the no-wake zone. I would remind you that a virtual public hearing will be held on November 14th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. You can mail written comments to NCWRC rulemaking coordinator at the address given. The public comment period ends December the 2nd, and Sean, am I remembering this correctly, that you have to sign up for
The virtual public hearing.
for the virtual
Yes,
public
sir.
hearing? You need to sign up for that in advance. That's to be held November 14th, so that's right away. So you need to go ahead and sign up if you wish to be heard at the virtual public hearing and express your opinion on that or whatever else you may want to address at that time.
Is this something the town, we got somebody representing us during this meeting? Voice our concerns? You're good with
Well,
where we're at on that?
the one I've talked with a couple times is Tim Clifton, and I think Tim is,
Ray
I'm sorry, Ray Clifton, my bad. I've talked with Ray a couple times. I saw him just a couple of days ago at Mike's, as a matter of fact, and we talked a while, and he basically indicated to me that they were going to do this. We also had talked about this the, the problem that we think that it creates with, bringing in skiers and not being allowed to tow them inside the pole like we used to at basically no more than a 45-degree angle and go back out. They do not have that in there at this time. And basically, I understand from talking with Ray that he does not anticipate that at this time they're going to put that in there, but that is certainly something that we can comment on with that. But that's the feedback I get from him.
In speaking with Betsy Haywood, she strongly recommends that if we feel strongly about the skiing verbiage being put back in there, that we should put that in our public comments. And I think it's wise for each of us individually to put in those comments rather than as a group, because the more comments they see, the bigger impact it will make. And no comments that have been made previously will be read. She said all the ones that had to be turned in by the end of October, was it? All of those have been thrown away, and so it started all over again. So if you make comments before the last public hearing, you need to do it again.
So it sounds like the more involvement we got, better.
Yes. And showing up for that meeting. I think there were, what, 5 of us at the meeting?
About that.
Yeah.
Okay, we all get signed up for that, whoever would like to do that and present your information on it, and we'll see what wildlife will do. Okay. All right, next item is the annual Thanksgiving fundraiser for White Lake Volunteer Fire Department, as Dale is called out of the building. So, all kinds of things going on tonight. Just wanted to point out to you for our annual Thanksgiving fundraiser for the White Lake Fire Department. Fire Department will be hosting that turkey and Boston butt fundraiser on Wednesday, November 27th, between 5 and 7 p.m. That's only through pre-order, and tickets can be purchased at the White Lake Fire Department. And we're going to assist the town as far as getting that out. And each of the commissioners has presented something with that too, I think, tonight. If you would take a look at that, get that back into to Sean. On the Thanksgiving holiday, the municipal complex will be closed on Thursday, the 28th, and Friday, the 29th, in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. Public Works on-call person will be available in case of water sewer emergencies. That concludes our presentation of the agenda for tonight. We're now at the open forum. 3 minutes per citizen is allowed to address the board. This is not a question and answer session. Anyone is allowed up to 3 minutes to make any comments that they wish to make at this time. So if anyone wishes to address the board and has comments to make, if you'd step up at this time to the podium and identify yourself, you have 3 minutes. If not, then that will conclude our business for tonight, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion second, any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed,
No way.
like sign.
Thank you, Dale. I was going to put this on the agenda next month, and I should have brought some recognition to it tonight. So thank you for the reminder. Dale did ask me to share with the board that he has concluded his inspection. It's sort of an audit for the fire department. They go through and check a various number of safety regulations and make sure, in a nutshell, we're doing what we say we're going to do, and we're doing it in a safe way. And we are conducting our fire department to the standards of the Office of the State Fire Marshal. Dale did inform me today that he has not only passed his inspection, he's passed it with flying colors with no violations reported, and that we're hopeful, if I can say this, that we are going to maintain our fire rating, which I would remind the board that we actually have a identical fire rating to Elizabethtown, who has a full paid staff whereas we have a full volunteer staff. So Dale, thank you for everything y'all do, and please keep up the good work.
Thank you, Dale. You always do a good job. Okay, folks, we're adjourned.